If you're looking for a small, charming beach town with beautiful coastal views, great food, and a relaxed vibe, look no further than Oceanside. My family and I have visited downtown Oceanside multiple times and we love it. So now what I'm gonna do is show you guys some awesome local restaurants and a few fun things to do around town, just in case you're planning a visit. So let's get into it. My family and I stayed at the Club Wyndham Oceanside Pier Resort for 6 nights in 2 different rooms. More on that later. This resort is primarily for people with timeshares, but if you don't have one, you can just do what we did and book a room on Redweek or booking.com, or even the somewhat official site wyndhamoceansidepier.com. But we found that Redweek has the best prices. The Club Wyndham Oceanside Pier Resort is a 3-star hotel situated right in the heart of downtown Oceanside with some wonderful views of the ocean. But what I love about staying at this hotel is how easy it is to walk anywhere. The pier and the beach are only a 2-minute walk away tops, and you can reach most restaurants in the area within 5 minutes or less. Plus, the hotel and the rooms are very wheelchair accessible, which worked great for my dad. So instead of key cards, you use wristbands as a key to your room. Speaking of the room, here's a tour. The room we booked is one of the biggest in the hotel. It comes with 2 bedrooms and it sleeps 6 people. So you have a smaller bedroom with a queen-size bed. You have your kitchen. I highly recommend buying groceries if you're going to be staying longer than 2 days. There's a nice little living room with a dining table, a couch, and an armchair. You also have a nice view of the pool below and the beach in the distance here. Then there's the other bedroom, which is a little bigger and comes with a bathroom of its own with a jacuzzi. There's another separate bathroom, by the way, near the first bathroom, and this bathroom comes with a washer and dryer, so you don't need to fear running out of clothes. Last is the balcony. So this is not the greatest view, but I actually want to show you another version of what these rooms look like, which is the version we usually get. The biggest difference is the living room, which has an attached bench and table instead of just the lone table with chairs. And the balcony is also much nicer here with a partial view of the ocean and just much more to look at overall. I believe you can also get a full ocean view version of these rooms. As far as amenities go, there's a gym on the 2nd floor, which is a pretty decent hotel gym. As you're working out, you also get a nice view of the pool outside, and there's even a little sauna you can wind down in after your workout. The pool area outside has plenty of space and chairs to chill in. When I came around 9 in the morning, there was no one there, unsurprisingly, but if you go in the afternoon or at nighttime, it does get busier. Looks like there's also a ping pong table out here, but I'm not sure how you get in there. Another cool spot on the property is the Sky Lounge. You go up to the highest floor, walk down the hall, and you'll find a room that gives you balcony access where you can see everything below. It's a nice spot to relax, listen to the sounds of the city below, and also watch the waves. Let's talk about food now. The hotel has 2 eateries. The first is 333 Pacific, which is on the fancier and more expensive side, but we just went in for happy hour and an appetizer and some dessert, both of which were pretty good, especially this dessert. The other eatery is much more casual. It's called Zigzag Pizza, and you can pretty much get any pizza you like. It's much more casual, so most people seem to do takeout here, but you can also sit down. The pizza and garlic bread from here were also quite tasty. But now let's talk about food outside the hotel. The first restaurant we went to when we arrived was the Surf Club, which is part of the Spring Hill Suites. Here you can have lunch and dinner, and their menu is a mix of tacos, salads, and your typical appetizers. I love the Moscow Mule here, but the food was honestly a little bland for me. On the other hand, one of my favorite places to eat at was Hilo, which is one of the restaurants at Mission Pacific, the hotel right next to the Wyndham. They serve breakfast and lunch until 3 p.m., and they also have dinner from 3 to 6 p.m., but we only went around lunchtime. The menu has a nice variety, like breakfast burritos, which were my personal favorite, French toast, salads, and even dessert. I especially love the Japanese Bellini I got here, and I would come back solely for that and the burrito. Speaking of Japanese, there's a chic spot called Harni if you're in the mood for some sushi and other similar dishes. They also have a really delicious blueberry mule here, and the calamari we ordered was super tasty. As for the main dishes, the food here was actually so good, I forgot to get footage of it. So I definitely tried this restaurant out, especially if you have a thing for dimly lit dining experiences. Another great place is Toasted, a stylish laid-back spot for breakfast and lunch. You You have your typical breakfast foods, but quite a few options for both savory and sweet dishes, along with multiple flavors for mimosas. I got the hibiscus mimosa with the smoked salmon toast, and both were absolutely delicious. My mom got steak and eggs, which came with these really tasty truffle potatoes. If you're in the mood for something a little more informal, there are two options, especially for breakfast. The first is Parlor Donuts, which sells some of the most extravagant donuts I've ever laid my eyes on, and there's also Pure View Coffee Company, which has a few more options. It's a nice spot to sip coffee, eat a donut, or even get some work done if you're working remotely. I do think some of the menu items are a little overpriced though, like this breakfast sandwich that costs about $10 and was okay at best. And last but definitely not least is the Lighthouse Oyster Bar and Grill. It's about a 20-minute walk or a 5-minute drive from the Wyndham to get to the harbor where the restaurant is located. I recommend the walk because you get to stroll through some of the neighborhoods and see some nice sights. They actually have a few other restaurants here, including Joe's Crab Shack. To reach the Lighthouse restaurant, you have to either climb up these stairs or take the elevator to the second floor. The elevator is definitely a little sketch, but we used it twice with no issues. Once you're up there, you can grab a table with a perfect view of the harbor below. My favorite thing to order here is the fish taco. 3 of them, in fact. You order them a la carte, and I believe they're about $5 each, which isn't bad. The restaurant doesn't have a liquor license, so I just went with regular champagne, and it complemented the tacos quite nicely. There's also one more food adventure that you cannot miss when you visit downtown Oceanside, so stick around for that toward the end of the video. Also, if you're liking this video, please like and subscribe for more. As for places to just get some cocktails and drinks at, there are 2 places I would highly recommend. The first is the Mission Pacific's rooftop bar. You enter through the lobby of the hotel, take the elevator to the 6th floor, and you're there. Sometimes it can get a little busy, or if the weather isn't ideal, there may be not too many tables available, but usually if you come when they open around 11 a.m. or during the week, it should be fine. What I love are these seats are right up against the window, and they give you a perfect view of the pier and the beach below. We didn't sit there when we went this time because it was just too hot and we would have been in the sun the whole time. But if the weather is nice, these tables are always taken. I got my custom usual, which is a tequila mule, but you'll see the menu is full of fun cocktails, champagne, and other drinks. They also have some very tasty small plates. We got pita bread with dip and this small plate of octopus, and the octopus especially was so good with the creamy sauce they slather it in. I highly recommend that dish in particular. The other rooftop bar is a little bit more inland. It's part of the Brick Hotel. I've only been here a couple times, but what I love about going here on a Thursday evening is that you can see the Oceanside Sunset Market below. More on that later. So now I want to check out one of the most famous spots in all of Oceanside, which is actually a pie shop, also known as Top Gun House. This charming little blue and white cottage was featured in the iconic 1986 film Top Gun. Today it's been restored and transformed into a retro pie shop, but they definitely still pay homage with plenty of throwback pictures and decorations. Here you can buy a delicious pastry called a high pie, and they're basically fruity Hot Pockets filled with your typical pie flavor, like apple, blueberry, strawberry, or sometimes even a seasonal flavor like pumpkin. I love the vintage vibe of this place, and it's the perfect stop for movie buffs and anyone with a sweet tooth. Now, as far as things to do in downtown Oceanside itself, outside of the usual beach activities and eating and drinking, I wouldn't say there's too much, and you're actually going to find a lot of other exciting things about a 30 to 60 minute drive outside of Oceanside. Especially if you're going to be staying for like about a week or so, most websites will probably recommend you go to Legoland or visit the San Diego Zoo or even Balboa Park. So if you haven't done those things before, then I highly recommend it. But since me and my family had already done some of these things in the past, we decided to do something a little different and more low-key. We went to Old Town San Diego. Old Town San Diego is about a 45-minute drive from Oceanside. Apparently, it's also the first European settlement in California and the oldest neighborhood in San Diego. It has a blend of Mexican heritage with a Western aesthetic that feels very old California. There are plenty of gift shops and places to buy candy and treats, and I really loved looking through the store that was selling a bunch of outdoor decor, including these beautiful pots. If it hadn't been so hot and the car wasn't so far away, we definitely would have bought a few. They also have this large shaded patch of grass for anyone who just wants to hang out. Honestly, you can easily spend a day exploring this area. And most of all, there are plenty of places to eat, especially if you like Mexican food. We went to Casa de Reyes for lunch, which is arguably the largest restaurant here. And the food was okay. I got tamales, but I felt a little skimped on the pork. My dad got some fajitas that he seemed to like well enough, and my mom liked the chicken tostada bowl she ordered. Of course, we also had to try their margaritas, which were about $14 to $16 each. It's a bit expensive, especially because personally, I thought they were a little watered down, but they tasted good. The only downside of going in early September is that it was just way too hot and humid, but overall, I really enjoyed the ambience. For the three of us, eating here came out to about $180 with tip. If you're in the mood to explore a place that feels more ancient and kind of like a museum, I recommend taking a trip to the town of San Juan Capistrano, which is about a 40-minute drive from Oceanside, to visit Mission San Juan Capistrano. It's a Spanish mission founded by Catholic missionaries in 1776, and here you get a nice blend of religious history, a chapel that you can actually sit and pray in, a museum, and beautiful green gardens. It reminds me very much of an ancient church museum site that I would see in Europe. Honestly, you could probably pretend you took a trip to Europe if you take some pictures here. But overall, you can get through here in an hour or two if you really take your time, and I think it makes for a nice day trip. I also highly recommend stopping by the restaurant Trevor's at the Tracks for lunch or dinner, which is about a 5-minute walk from the mission site. Now, let's head back to Oceanside so I can show you one of my favorite parts about coming here, specifically on a Thursday. So every Thursday evening from 5 to 9 p.m., they have a sunset market where you can buy all kinds of food. Ice cream, smoothies, street food and snacks, and even clothes. But what I love is that you can try food from so many different cultures. Turkish food, Filipino Hawaiian fusion, Polish, Jamaican, Kenyan, even your usual barbecue. My mom and I opted for Jamaican food with oxtail, rice, and potato salad, which was pretty good. If you have the stomach room, it's a great place to come, try out a bunch of foods you've never had before, and basically eat to your heart's content. Overall, I think Oceanside is a great spot to visit. And I think the reason that me and my family keep coming back is that even though it can get a little bit busy, like any beach town, it's never overwhelming. And honestly, I feel like it has this small town vibe to it. I could honestly see myself living there and just feeling very at home. It really doesn't feel touristy at all, and when you combine that with it only being a 30 to 60-minute drive from most San Diego attractions, I think it makes it a really good place to put on any travel list. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. See you later!